In this video, I go on a journey in Daily Race A as I get reset to Daily Race B. Gran Turismo figured it out. We have a good rolling start at Spa, and in Daily Race C, it's a bit of a traffic jam at Watkins, Glen. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gran Turismo Weekly Race Guide here in 2025. Apologies, I am a little bit ill, so my voice may sound a little bit funny, although some of you think my voice sounds funny all the time anyway, so maybe it sounds normal now. Who knows? First up then, in the background, we're in a Plymouth Superbird and we're doing some classic Nascar here at Daytona Tri-Oval. That does mean DR and SR updates are off, as you can see right there. 7 laps, rolling start, comfort soft tyres. Now, this race is all about trying to survive, as you will see in my race coming up shortly. But if you don't want to do this race and you want to see what's happening in Daily Race B or Race C, well, there are some timestamps there to jump to those races and you can check those out. However, we're going to stay here with some key statistics because this isn't the first time we've used this track. It's actually 3 times we've used it. It's 52nd overall in terms of track usage. We've done this track car combo once. This is a repeat combo. And we last used this track on the 10th of March, 2025. In terms of issues, 1 crash equals race over, and it's also not a flat-out race. So, literally, if people are going flat, guess what? You're going to get walled, and then it means crashes. And then we go back to the first issue of 1 crash is race over. Without further ado then, let's jump into this race and let's have a look exactly how many crashes are in this Daily Race A. Here we are then at the start of this one. Kiwi starting in pole position. 16 cars, which is nice to see. Not the usual 12 in Daily Race A. And of course, the rolling start here, which I think is acceptable in this type of racing. It makes perfect sense. So well played, Gran Turismo, guessing the start type absolutely right. As you can see here, it's flat out in this first part of the race. But as I said in the intro, it's not a flat out race in general, just because of the way this car handles, and we'll get to that shortly as we go through the first bank in here. No real issues as we continue on through. A little bit of server movement there. The servers not being the best here. Oh, we have our first big crash there to the right hand side. No idea who that was, but we'll look at that one in the bloopers. Marisonic to the left of Norman. Max Power to the right of Norman. I had no idea where to go there, so we'll go for a bit of bump drafting as we go into the left-hander there. Nobody appears to lift, and into the wall people go as we continue on the inside there. Oh, we got a big crash. That was somebody else gone out the way. Purple car. I assume that was Huggy then. Huggy loves purple. As we continue on through to the end of that one, 2 big crashes there. Some walled moments as well. And this is what you'll experience on every single Daily Race A this week as we head towards the banking. Once again, I lift off here because I don't want to go towards the outside. Do you have anyone in the wall? Oh, I can hear it. I can't quite see it though as we go through the banking for the second time of asking. Keeping that inside line. This is critical in this race, by the way, just to come away from the action for a second. Keep to the inside line. It's the safest place to be. Is Raddy on there? I think is waiting up for somebody. Not sure who here. As we head to the banking once again. Oh, big wiggle there from Norman, but we get on the inside and Norman have to lift there to avoid pushing Norman into the barrier. So we're now up to P6. We're behind Ugandan. So we'll go for some bump drafting here as we go through the start-finish line, start lap number 3 into the first bank. Here we go, nothing happened here. It's why we're fast-forwarding. But we go into 2 lines here then as we enter the next banking. I go towards the inside, as I said earlier. This is the safest place to be. A slight lift off there to ensure I don't understeer to the outside. Sticking towards that inside line then as we continue on through here. We get a bit of bump drafting from behind. Good stuff here as we go towards the left-hand side then. BTM M Victory comes across there. Doesn't realise I'm there and I've got nowhere to go. I come back on the circuit. Arguably, I should have probably done that a little bit better, but at the time I felt I could just come back on. And yeah, we go for a spin and we crash and get reset as well. Look at this, all the way to the back. We've got to start from scratch here. Everyone else doing 200 miles an hour. We're currently doing 50. So that was the end of my race then, unfortunately. We'll have a look at it in the bloopers, of course, to exactly what happened, what I could have done to improve, or generally speaking. But basically, if you're in this race, try and avoid changing lanes too much, because I think that is a big factor in this one. I'll give it a 6 out of 8 then in terms of the score. For me, I think this is an okay daily race. Just expect absolute carnage. Now, there is no guide for Daily Race A because it's an oval. So we jump to Daily Race B here, where we're in Group 3 and we're at Spa-Francorchamps for this one. Can't already guess by the Kemmel straight in the background. Doing 4 laps here. It's custom slipstream, of course. Rolling start, racing hard tyres, and you can adjust the brake balance. Now, critically, Spa has always been bad with the rolling start. However, this is a Spa 24-hour layout, so the rolling start is actually good. Well played, Gran Turismo. Now, we've used this track 3 times because it's not the usual layout. It's a 24-hour layout. Track car combo twice. We last used it on the 30th of June 2025. Now, for me, there are not enough laps for this race. It definitely needs a couple more at least. And if you do race people, you're going to lose the pack ahead. So arguably, the battle you choose is the battle for that race. Without further ado then, let's jump into this one as I go for a move at Poo-on. Right, here we are then at the start of this. P15 for me, but as I said, this is the 24-hour layout. So look at this, a nice rolling start. Well played, Gran Turismo, using the correct layout. If you're enjoying this, as always, give it a like and subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. I believe there's a hype button down there as well. If you want to hype this video up, please do, because that will help the channel out massively. YouTube have said it helps it out, so let's do it. Now, brake belts in the race is +3. I do chase that's +4 in the time trial. Now, in terms of this race, look up ahead there. The side-by-side. So racing starting earlier because we have a better rolling start. Look at that. It's very easy to solve some of these problems. Now, this is a sprint race. We do need the races to start very early. Look at that. We're 3 wide through that corner. Well, I say we. I'm not. But I'm trying to prepare myself for the exit here then. Mario Sonic on the right. I end up on the left-hand side of Mario Sonic then. So we head down towards Poo-on here. Am I going to go for the move is the question then. We're going to go onto the brake trail. Brake into this corner. Mario Sonic towards my right-hand side then. Got to be careful. I wasn't sure whether I pushed Mario Sonic out. So I want to check that out in the bloopers just to make sure I didn't push Mario Sonic out as we continue on through here. I'm now defending there from Easy Spin on the left-hand side. I'm pretty sure that was their nickname as we go through here then. And we do defend that. So we stay in P14. We've gained a place already here at Spa, which is unusual. As I say, normally we've got the really rubbish rolling start. So we have to spend a lap trying to catch up. Doing the right-hander we go then. End of sector 2 coming up into the fast right we go then. Slight lift, clip the curb and continue on there. Oh, we have to stop there for the Renault up ahead. Right, what we're going to do here then. The RS01 up ahead. We're heading towards Blanchimont. The GTR, which I'm in right now. I haven't actually mentioned that. I'm in the Nissan GTR. It is a quicker car than the Renault up ahead. We do lift off a little bit there because I wasn't sure whether we could go flat at Blanchimont. We're going to head towards the chicane then. Hard on the brakes now. I'm going to try around the outside. Very hard to do, but we do go a little bit too deep there. We do manage to get it stopped though, and that we're still side by side here actually as we go through this corner. We go to the exit then, and we are just ahead there by an iota as we head towards the line. We're in P13 and looking for some, but hey, looking for me right now as we head towards turn 1. Hard on the brakes there. We do defend that position. Muscafi's gone quite wide there, and Ugandan's gone off the circuit as well. Not sure what's going on between those two, but we'll try and have a look at that one in the bloopers as we continue on through here then. And we're up into P12 now. So we do fast forward this a little bit then, and we're getting bump drafted on the Kemmel Straight. You see Uganda there with 0.5 second penalty. Now some people would lunge at this moment in time, but there's no point. As I said in the issues, if you start racing people unnecessarily, you're going to lose the pack ahead. You don't want to do that. Now, I'm going to get the place from Ugandan as long as I stay with Ugandan. If I don't, Ugandan's going to pull me along anyway. So here, just stay behind, let Ugandan take the penalty. I should get the position anyways. Ugandan goes for the slightly less of a slowdown there on the grass. We're going to go towards the left-hand side there, and we're going to go up into P11 then. So we'll fast forward this a little bit then. Heading towards the pack now, hard on the brakes into the chicane as we go into here, and we clip the sausage on the right then. We clip Norman apparently as we go through there. So Norman struggling a little bit there through the chicane. Not sure why. Not tried the AMG here, but maybe it struggles in the chicane. I do not know. So we get towards the end of the Kemmel Straight then as we go onto the brakes, and in we go. So trying to carry the momentum there as we go through here. Norman's definitely struggling with something then as we go through into the right-hander. Got to carry as much speed as we can. Oh, I managed to catch it though. Big oversteer moment there, but we do catch it. That was because of the curb as we go onto the brakes again. Norman defends that position, or tries to. Oh, Mal manages to get it stopped there. I thought Norman was going deep. Doesn't quite go deep there, so I can't go on the inside. We head towards the fast left here. Easy corner to get wrong this one, especially if you head out wide. Well, Norman's gone essentially. You can get some catastrophic oversteer by clipping that slippy stuff, but Norman survives this. We head towards P1 then. On the brakes we go. Trail brake a little bit. Norman's gone very deep there, and oh, on the slippy stuff managed to bring it back on, but there's a gap there. There's a GTR size gap, and I take it. Up into P10 I go. I take that. I thought that was quite a good move, to be honest with you. Lap number 4 then. We're behind the Polish driver Leo here as we go in towards turn number 1. We're going to try and get on the power early as we can. Oh, Leo's out on the slippy stuff. Manages to bring it back on there then. And we are now in this slipstream as we head towards Eau Rouge and Rally. Oh, 0.5 second penalty there for Leo. But this is a bit different from Ugandan now, because this is the last lap and I do need to get past in order to catch up to max power. So in this situation, do think about overtaking some of the penalties. Leo gets another penalty there for some track limits at Eau Rouge Radion as we head down the Kemmel Straight. Then we're going to head towards that right side because we do want to catch up to max power. We want to overtake max power. So here we go then. Can we get this move done? Hard on the brakes and in towards Lake Combe we go, and we do get it stopped there. Beautiful stuff as we continue on through. Oh, max power, all sorts of... Well, I mean, it's max power actually. I should just say it's max power going sideways. What's new? Anyway, we're going to head down here towards the right-hander. Hard on the brakes we go. As we come into here, though, unfortunately, we're going to get a slight tap from behind. It cost us a tiny bit of time, but we managed to bring it back nicely. Maybe half a tenth there, but nothing major. We head towards the end of the lap now, and that half a tenth is what I really wish I had right now as we go through Blanchimon then. Look at that flat out. Here we go. Max Power struggles a little bit there. Heading towards the bus stop chicane. Hard on the brakes we go. Now, Max Power looking here. That is defending the inside. So, okay, let's go for a wide line in and then go through the left-hand and get the power down early. We should have this. However, that Porsche is so good at accelerating. All the weight goes over the rear wheels. And there you go where the engine is. And, yeah, Max Power defends that beautifully. So, we come home in P9 in the end in terms of this race. Now, points-wise, 5 out of 8. There are some improvements that could be had here. Definitely needs more laps here. 9-minute race. You know, 2 more laps here would have been fantastic in my opinion. It really would have been. But even so, we're going to jump into the lap guide now. Brought to you by Coach Dave Academy and the Delta app. Make sure you do check that out in the comments and description as well. We head towards turn 1, plus 4 brake balance. You can see that in the right-hand side. And you can use 100 board on the left, which is what I use. I actually brake just after that disappears off the edge of your screen. However, there is a gap in the fence panel that I highlighted on the right. As it hits the edge of your screen, brake there. It's a really good marker, to be honest with you. So we dropped first gear and want to short shift to second. Now you can't do this in second. I'm still not sure which way is the best one here. They both are, well, they both have strengths and weaknesses. First gives you a bit more rotation and you can just point and go. Second, you carry a bit more speed. A Rouge Radion, easy flat here. Just watch what I do. Just don't mount the curb too much on the inside and make sure you don't cut up here and you will be absolutely fine. You know, take it nice and safe there. You'll be golden. Going to head towards the end of sector 1 then. Here we go, 4 Lake Home. Now you got 2 markers here. You got the 100 board or the end, the start of the curb in front of you. Now you brake just before you get to the start of the curb, and that's what I use here. Arguably the 100 board is better, so that's why I've highlighted both of these for you. And I want you to brake on the curbing, okay? If you brake on the curb, and then it gives you maximum attack of the angle. Watch out for the balls there, don't hit them. We're going to lift off a little bit here, get on the inside, start to accelerate. Notice how we're here. We're just adjusting the throttle each time. Accelerate, lift off, accelerate, lift off, accelerate, lift off. That's all I'm doing through there. I don't want to brake through there. It will unsettle the car. We head down towards this right-hander. Once again, we're using a start of the curb there. I want to brake just before I get to the start of the curb here. And I want to point towards the corner here now. Remember, braking efficiency happens when you're braking in a straight line. So if I point towards the corner, then go 100% on the brakes, guess what? I will make the corner. And that's what we do right here. I start to lift off here, clip the curb. I go out a tiny bit here. And there are 3 bollards on the inside. The first 2, don't worry about them. The third one is your accelerator marker. Notice here, I've got to the third one. And I've started to go on the power in second gear. Now, you might want to short shift to third. If you do that, though, third may generate some wheel spin, so just be careful of that. So we do second gear here. Notice that I wasn't 100% throttle there. I was about 90 or 80 there as I went through most of that corner just to make sure the car was settled. Now we head to this left-hander. Now I highlight this fence every single time. I want you to be turning before that gap in the fence. What I really use is the curb. When I hit the curb, I then hit the brakes and then look to turn it in. It's a very difficult corner to get right because there are very little in terms of markers, but just make sure on the exit you do not touch the dark green stuff because that is very, very slippy. We head towards P1 then, and we've got 2 markers here, although we've passed one of them already, which is the 50 board. 50 board, in my opinion, is a bit too early, and what I use here is on the left-hand side. So you got marshals, you got the end of the catch fence, and dark grey to light grey on the Armco. 3 different markers here for P1. Now, you can do this in 3rd or 4th gear, okay? So I've come in here at 4th gear, I'm going to accelerate through. 3rd gear is a tiny bit slower, but you're guaranteed not to understeer. In 4th, there is the potential of understeering. So have a bit of a play with that. If you struggle with understeer all the time at P1, drop to 3rd and try and maximize the lap elsewhere. We head towards this chicane here then, and I use the gantry as it hits the top of my screen here on racing hard tyres. You could use the 50 board or to start the curb up ahead as a distance marker, but I highly recommend you use the gantry here. Now you're going to brake and go for a later apex here. I trail brake all the way to the curb there, 2nd gear, then short shift to 3rd gear. I'm going to lift off this left-hander. Once I clip the curb, I can start accelerated. Be careful on the exit, that dark green stuff, very slippy there. You'll see a lot of spins there in races as well. So we head to this right-hander here, and on the left-hand side, we have the red to yellow there, that transition in the barrier. That's what I use now for this right-hander. Very obvious, very clear, and the end of the red is perfect here. As I say, it's very obvious. So we're going to hit the brakes, drop to 2nd gear. As I clip the curb, I'll then accelerate and short shift to 3rd gear. We continue on through. On the right-hand side, we have the start of the curb. This is my turning marker. You can do this flat. However, some of you will suffer with understeering. It does depend on the car as well. You can do this flat, just get it right. Make sure you do not clip the bollard on the inside. That will send you spinning if you hit this bollard, okay? So we're going to just turn in here, our 4th gear, clip the curb, and look at that. Continue on through. Nearly going out wide, but it shows you can do it flat. Blanchimon, nice and flat, nice and easy here. I actually get this tiny bit wrong. I lose about 1/4 of a tenth there because I just understeered a tiny bit. Going to head towards the chicane then, and I use the billboard on the right hand side that I've highlighted right there. Literally, as I'm halfway into it, I'm going to hit the brakes. Now, obviously, there's a delay between thinking about the brakes and braking, so I should be braking right now, okay? And I actually do this a tiny bit slower than I should have done here. So I'm going to hit the brakes, going to drop all the way down to first gear, okay? And then when I turn in, I want to use all the sausage on the inside. Accelerate a little bit, then I'm going to short shift to second gear on the exit. I found first gear, I just hit the limiter too quick. So second gear on the exit. You will suffer some power oversteer, so just be careful of that. That's a 218.547, and you can check that out on the leaderboard as well in terms of a ghost and a replay. And, of course, Delta. Make sure you do check it out in the description because my lap is on there as well. We've already jumped to daily race C then, where we're in Group 4 at Watkins, Glen. But which one? I'll explain in a second. We're doing 15 laps here on custom slipstream. Rolling start, racing hard tyres, and you do have to pit at least once with ×3 tyre wear, which isn't critical at all. Don't change your tyres and you can adjust the brake balance. Now, the track we are doing is in fact the short circuit, which I'll bring up right now. So this one, a very interesting race indeed. We've used this track 11 times, 3 times this track and car combo, and we last used this track on the 21st of July. In terms of issues, slipstream is vital here, so if you have a teammate, this is going to work out wonders for you. And track limits can be frustrating at this circuit, especially at the chicane. The chicane track limits are very weird indeed, in my opinion. Even so, we're going to jump into this one. I chose the Honda NSX, which was the last minute choice, and let's have a look exactly how this race goes and the strategy you should use. Right, here we are then at the start of the final race. We're starting all the way at the back in P16 in that Honda NSX. Now, if you are enjoying this video, as always, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, or if you really want, hit the hype button, which I believe is down there. That will really promote the video and hopefully promote better racing in Gran Turismo 7. We head towards the end of lap 1 then, because it's all about catching up on this first lap with the rolling starts. And as we continue towards the last corner, you'll notice that Shadow goes to the right-hand side. That tells me Shadow's going in the pits and taking a chance, taking a risk to hopefully break away from the pack rather than use the slipstream. But we'll see if that actually works later on in this race. As we head towards turn 1, notice that I'm lifting off here. I don't want to bump draft somebody right in the middle of the braking zone because that's just not very nice and not very sportsmanlike in the slightest, and more likely it will cause a crash. So we advance to the end of lap 2, or towards the end of it at least here. As we continue on, we've got somebody taking a penalty there on the left-hand side. And that is the problem with this race, is the penalties. Because if you get a penalty, you're going all the way to the back. Notice there, we are 6 seconds covering most of the field here. Minus Shadow doing his own thing at the back, of course. As we go into this right-hander, clip the curb on the inside. Which is why I'm not actually pushing that much, by the way. I'm trying to avoid penalties. Now, did anyone notice max power there? Ran a little bit too wide on the exit of that final turn. That's a 0.5 second penalty there. And max power is going to take that towards the right-hand side there. So we should have advantage. Ugandan also with a penalty there on the left-hand side. We'll take Ugandan as well. So up to P12. Notice here, we're just taking places off people as they take the penalties. It's not really costing us any time at all, really, in the grand scheme of it. As we head down here, though, what I do want you to focus on is on the left-hand side, okay? We're 6.3 seconds off the leaders right now, okay? Sorry, 5.3. As we continue on up here, let's see how much time we gain from the bump drafting. So we've gained a 10th now already. Now, they could be bump drafting as well. We don't know. We've gained another 10th now, so that's 0.2 of a second. So notice this teamwork has to be used here in order to get an advantage. We're purple as well as we head towards the chicane. It's critical to get teamwork right, and also the chicane, which we do get right this time as we continue into the long right-hander. We go to lap number 5 then here. Marisonic up ahead then, and Marisonic now is going to go defensive, which I didn't really want. I wanted Marisonic to stay to the right. I didn't want to fight anybody at this moment in time. I wanted to just catch up. Notice the gap to leaders down to 3 seconds. They've been fighting. I think some of them have had penalties as well. This entire pack is the fight for the lead. So I've indicated to go right here. That's me going in the pits. I was hoping Ugandan would follow me through, but didn't. Fortunately, Blue Racer did. So I'm trying to indicate to people here, let's work together. We can work together from the back and hopefully jump everybody. That was the plan at least here, because that many cars in one place is going to cause a traffic jam and slow everybody up. Now, we're going to see where Shadow fits in all of this then. So we're about to exit the pits there. Blue Racer up ahead. We're just in that slipstream, I think, of Blue Racer. So hopefully we can catch that gap up. Blue Racer also has the fastest lap, which tells me that this is a good person to work with. That gap to Shadow is only 0.8 of a second. So Shadow hasn't actually lost out too much. We've actually lost out with some of the fighting that has been going on in this race. But it does show you slipstream is still vital, because arguably without the slipstream, Shadow would be well ahead right now with some of the fighting going on. So lap number 7 here, we've got some people coming out the pits. We've got Velasa in a Scirocco there, Ugandan in that NSX. So obviously Ugandan's pit a lap later. This is where I was hoping that we could have worked together. This time then, as we go up here, those two go to the left, so I go to the right hand side here, and hopefully we are going to get this position. Now that Scirocco is actually underestimated in this race. In fact, all the front-wheel drive cars, because they are exceptionally fast in a straight line, and I don't know why I didn't think about them, and this is an exceptionally fast track. Now, up ahead, BTM has a 3-second penalty, so that is one thing and one thing only, that pit lane entry. So BTM there just got it slightly wrong. You do have to be careful of the pit lane entry. It's on a corner as well, so you could get smashed out of that line, so it's a bit of a complicated one to get right. You do have to pick your timing of the pits very well indeed, and again with who you pit with, because you don't want to be pitting on your own. You do want a teammate of some kind. So we go past Max Power here. Up ahead we have Mario Sonic, who arguably is jumpy here in the grand scheme of it, so is doing very well in terms of that, because it's been very hard to catch up to Mario Sonic there. Lap number 9 then. Velasquez behind me in that Scirocco, really pushing me along very nicely. We've got Mario Sonic up ahead. Once again, I'm going for the bump draft in here with 23.4 seconds off the leaders right now. I really want to bring that gap down. Remember, it was about 5.5 when I came in the pits from memory, something like that. So, unfortunately for me, Mario Sonic goes towards the right, and I didn't want that to happen. So, and Velasquez, of course, was bump drafting me as well. So, I go to slow up here. I don't want to fight. I want to just push together. I want to work together here. We're 23.2 seconds off. I feel like we could have gained another 10th or 2 there, but we'll see how that plays out as we continue on in this race. At the moment, it's all about strategy. I want to work with these drivers now, really push on, and then I'll fight at the very end of the race. We go to lap number 10 then, so this is a lap later. We go into the last corner, which I get slightly wrong as we continue on through here then, and we go onto this start-finish straight. Start lap number 11. That gap has come down by a second there. You can see that right now. Velasquez goes for the move. Now, this is actually a very good move by Velasquez in my opinion. So why is Velasquez going for the move good, but me bad? Well, Velasquez in the Scirocco. Velasquez has to make moves here in order to actually gain positions in that Scirocco. Whereas I would struggle to break it away from anyone. The Scirocco's got more chance. Ewan's just come out the pits here. Ewan very smart here and aware of where I'm coming from. Goes towards the right hand side. Didn't have to do that. I would have had to slam on. But that's really nice of you to do that, Ewan. And you see there, Velasquez once again trying to get more moves done and actually ends up at the head of the pack. Blue Racer has a penalty, so we overtake Blue Racer here on lap number 12. And these laps are counted down. Notice now it's down to 21 seconds, 20.5 seconds down to the leaders. Velasquez had a penalty, so once again, we are going to pass Velasquez. And penalties are showing here. They are critical. Sparks had a penalty here as we continue on through this left-hander. And this fight, this race is coming to a head right now. You're seeing it right here as we go through the last corner, and we are about to stop. We're not about to start. We're about to start lap 14 then here at Watkins. So we go towards the end of this lap. We've got Leo there having a penalty. Once again, losing some positions because of that penalty. The leaders are now in the pits, and Kentish Jen, Huggy, and Muscaffi here as we go into the final corner. Now it's all to play for. So these, lap 14, lap 15, I'd argue, these are the ones where you want to fight, where you need to fight. And this is why the fighting's going on up ahead as well, because you really need to try and gain track position now on this final lap to really have an advantage. We head towards turn number 1. Velasquez goes towards that inside. Good smart move here for Velasquez. However, I've got the better run on the outside line. That gives me advantage. Look at this coming out of my pits. Muscaffi. We've got Huggy and Kentish Gents. Remember when I talked about working together earlier on? This is what working together does then. We've gained that, whatever it was, 4 seconds that we came in the pits with. As we continue on through here then, and we're trying to go on the outside of Kentish Gents. Velasquez there as well. And we've got nowhere to go. We go for a bit of bump draft in here then. We're up into P4. So we head towards the chicane. Leo goes defensive. Marisonic comes back there. Wasn't sure where to go here, so we slow it down then as we go through the chicane. We don't want a penalty on this final lap. It would be critical to the race if we got a penalty now. So in towards this long right we go. Sparks up ahead. Sparks had a penalty earlier on as well, so we're 1 second off the lead right now. This is how close this race is. I think this is a very fun race this week, by the way. There's lots of different ways to race in real life and in Gran Turismo, and this is one of those where working together and strategy is going to be so critical here, and that is racing in itself. You're working together, you're racing to try and beat everybody else. I'm going to head towards the last corner though. Can I get the move done on Marisonic? So I tried to prep myself for an amazing last corner. I know on the previous last corners, I've taken it nice and easy. This one, I went for it. We're going to go towards the right-hand side then. We're in a bit of slipstream here. We head towards the line. Unfortunately, we do not get P4 there. What a fantastic race that was. It was really good fun. However, there still could be some improvements here as well. And that's why I do the point scoring system. Now, what did this race get in terms of the point system? It got a 7.5 out of 10. So, you know, it's not bad. It's not average. I'd argue this is on like the bottom end of good, but at least it's still a race that we can all do. Right, let's jump into this one then. We're going to head down towards turn 1. This lap, guys, brought to you by Coach Dave Academy and the Delta app. Make sure you do check that out in the description and the pinned comment as well. +5 brake balance and your first braking marker. Well, on the left-hand side, we have Armco 4 to 3. You can use that. It's a bit early. I would use a 200 board if I was you. Literally get to the 200 board and make sure when you turn in, you're doing one sweeping turn. So I stay out wide and then turn in. If you're trying to just steering in the middle of that corner, you're going to go wide here. Now, it's very easy to run wide and get a track limit penalty. Critically, stay on the curb as I'm showing you right there, and you will not get a track limit penalty, and you should have a really good run through the corner. Now, that corner is critical to your lap because it's flat out now all the way up the hill as well, and you need to carry and have as much speed as possible up the hill because these cars are so low powered. We head towards the chicane then, and I am going to highlight 2 braking markers for you. We have the 300 board and we have the marshal box. Now, you can use either of these. Arguably, if you want to go for last and late breakers, the marshal box. 300 board is the safer option here because you can prepare your line, and that's what I would advise for you to do. So watch what I do here. So I'm going to brake. I'm just getting the car turned in, let the car bounce through the corner by being a little bit on the throttle, and I could continue on through absolutely fine. If you just lift off and turn in, you're going to get oversteer, and the weight transitions can be more extreme. For this right-hander then, we have the start of the curb there. This actually is a lift-off marker for most people. Now, I'm going to be really aggressive here and accelerate through this a little bit more and dab the brakes. Don't do that if you are struggling. Just lift off here and let the car turn. So notice I have to dab the brakes because I just was overly aggressive into the corner. So we have the escape road on the right-hand side. This is what I use as an accelerating marker, okay? I want to clip the curb, and as long as I've clipped the curb, I should make it round. Now, arguably, in some cars, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. That's where the marshal box comes in, which is a bit later on, which says, I love New York on it. Right there, you can use that as an accelerating marker as well. Just be careful on the exit here. That curb is very small, so if you go over that, you're, of course, going to get a track limit penalty. We're going to head to the penultimate corner now. And for this one, we do have 2 markers, believe it or not. So it's your choice in which one you use here. So we have the 200 board on the left, and we have the 200 board on the right. Wow, how imaginative. Now, you can either use at the 200 board on the left disappears, or be at the 200 board on the right. Now, what you want to do here is dab the brakes and chuck the car in. Once again, you're using the weight transfer to get the car around more than the braking. So notice as we turn in, we're trying to clip the curb, and we can continue on through. The later you turn, arguably, the better and more faster you can do it in, but too late, and you're going off. For the final corner then, we always use this marker. It's the tyre wall going to Armco on the left-hand side. So what I want you to do is dab the brakes. You will want to drop a gear in some cars. I believe I drop a gear in the NSX here because it just gets a bit more rotation. Maximum revs, of course. Once you click the curb here, you should be absolutely fine to make the end or the exit of the corner. Just don't run too wide as you saw with max power in the race. And as we head towards the line, this is a 1:14.9. There's still time in the lap there. However, you did have to get a lap on the leaderboard fairly quickly because of how competitive it actually is. We jump to the bloopers then here on board Sparks then. So this was the first incident that happened in the race. What happened here? There's a bit of movement here with the servers and the cars as well. Oh, yes. There's a bit of movement in the server right at the end there. That's why Sparks hit you, and that's unfortunate. And to be honest, a race like this, we need the servers to be spot on. Otherwise, there's no point in having it. Right, in towards the left we go. So we've got Radion here then. And oh, there's a bump in that corner. It looks like that's literally sent Huggy around there. That might be why Radion was waiting up on the lap later that we saw in the race. So here's my perspective once again, but on chase cam here. So I'm on the inside line. This is where I always say, try and avoid changing lanes like that, because you notice it just bashes me off. Now, you could say I could have lifted off there, but looking at it afterwards, I couldn't. Because if I lift off, I'm going to cause the crash behind. If I brake, I'm going to cause the crash behind. There was nowhere for me to go here at that moment in time, because I'm on the grass. I'm going to go straight anyway. Very difficult situation that. Just to avoid changing lines is probably the best advice I can give there to anybody in that race, unless there's a big gap. Now, do I hit Marisonic here? Nope, Marisonic is absolutely fine. Okay, well, that's nice and easy. I like to make sure on these things. And we go to Mascafee. What happened with Mascafee? Because we saw Mascafee on the left-hand side here in Daily Race B. Goes into here and, into the back of Ugandan. Now, there was a bit of server or Constantina effect there. Not too sure. But even so, Mascafee does the right thing there, lets Ugandan go and then carries on. Now, if you have enjoyed this, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. There's no bloopers from Daily Race C because not much happened in it other than fantastic racing. Now, if you want to watch more videos on the channel, you think they're fantastic as well, do check them out on your screen. Check out my partners down below, including Coach Dave Academy. As I say, they partner up with me on this video, and I appreciate the support. So it'd be good if you could check them out. I do appreciate your support as well, so a big thank you for watching. Hit that hype button, the like, subscribe, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.